thank you, Michael, and Dr. Zink, and so many other friends that I have here. Look, I think what I always like to emphasize that, we all have our own story, and Michael was telling a little bit about my story, my own personal story, and it's great being with him. By the way, I'm this is a little aside, but I do this thing called the Alaskan of the Week every Thursday on the floor in the Senate, where I do a speech on somebody who's making a big difference in our state, and I like to brag about them. I was the first one to discover Lydia Jacoby. She was my Alaskan of the Week before she won the gold, right? But Michael was one, and then so was Ann Zink. I don't know where Ann is. There she is. So we have a lot of famous people here, and people I have a lot of respect for, all of you. But I want to mention, I see John there. I just, so we all have our own journey, right? And my journey was, Michael just talked about it, but to me, it's one of the most important journeys I've had. Look, I was your attorney general, and I was kind of a lock 'em up, throw away the key kind of AG. And I had such an experience to learn about addiction and people who were challenged by addiction. And Michael talked about what we called in my office the Amazing Eight. There's one of them, Carol, oh my God. And they came to see me, and they just talked about what they were going through, and it was so powerful and so meaningful. And the one thing I took away, and I've always taken away this, the people who are in recovery are some of the most courageous people in America, right? How about a round of applause for that? It's a true statement. She's one. And when we were done, and I did clear my schedule because I wanted to hear everything, I just looked at my staff and I said, we gotta do much more. We gotta focus on this. We gotta help people. And so this has been a huge priority of mine, and it's because of people like Michael and Kara and so many others. And I just want to thank them, because I will tell you, I was pretty clueless on these issues, and I'm not clueless anymore. And Michael did mention, and Kara was one of the stars, but we did this summit in 2016. We called it the Wellness Summit. And it was just my office. We were reaching out to people to try and get, hey, do you think anyone cares? Do you think anyone will come? Do you think anyone wants to hear about this? We brought federal government officials, state, doctors, smart people, but we had no idea. It was like throwing a party and not knowing if anyone was going to show. It was right here, Matsu College, and we had over 500 people show up. Sure some of you were there. I mean, I was like, so someone came up to me at the end of the summit. They said, wow, that was a huge success. And we said, well, actually, I'm not sure I would call it a success. It was a cry for help. That so many people were so interested and they wanted to learn more. And if you remember, this is 5 years ago now, and that's when the opioid epidemic was barreling down on so many communities across the state and across the country. So our goal was to try and let people know that addiction should not be considered a crime. Addiction is something that we should look to help our brothers and sisters get out of, not criminalize it. And look, to be honest, that was a huge epiphany for me, and I learned that from so many of you. And I truly, truly want to thank you for that. You know, the Matsu Opioid Task Force, to me, is one of the most positive, grassroots, organized, and very effective grassroots organization I've seen anywhere in Alaska, anywhere in the country. I'll tell you an interesting story. I've gone to a number of their meetings. I was at a meeting, I can't remember, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Some of the best ideas, there was a really good idea in there. I went back to DC 3 days later. I was in a meeting with the Vice President of the United States. And I was like, I'm going to tell him what I learned at the Matsu Opioid Task Force and made this pitch. It was about money, a lot of money, but it was actually something that at the federal government level we started to institute because of ideas right here. So anyways, I want to thank all of you. You've really helped me understand the issue. Please know you have a strong advocate. Michael did mention, I read the book Dreamland, and I was kind of emceeing this summit. And at the very end of the summit that we had in 2016, I read the last paragraph of the book. If you haven't read the last paragraph of the book, I recommend you do it, because I can't quote it off the top of my head, but it was about community. It was about the way we get through this is it's gotta be community. It's gotta be grassroots efforts. And I'll never forget, it says, look, we are Americans. We're not just gonna get the crap kicked out of us by this addiction that's sweeping through the country. We need to come together as a community. And I would say that of all the communities I've seen, the Matsu Opioid Task Force and so many others, the leadership of so many people here are making that happen. And I'm honored to work with you as your senator. And as long as I am your senator, I will make this my highest priority. So thank you, Michael. Congratulations again, and keep up the great work.